Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready on my client, Mr. Rodriguez. I just have one witness to testify on his behalf.
All right. Is Mr. Rodriguez in the courtroom or on Zoom?
He should be on Zoom. He's in the jail.
All right. Let me find him. Where do you see Mr. Rodriguez in here?
Yeah, he's just under his last name, Casino Rodriguez.
Ah, okay.
And then were you looking for Cervantes earlier? He's there now too.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Who is the prosecutor on Casino Rodriguez?
I was going to do it, Judge.
Thank you. All right. Court is calling 2021 CR 11552, State of Texas versus George Casino Rodriguez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the State of Texas.
For the defense?
William Davidson?
And are you Mr. Casino Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Casino, do you have any objection to this sentencing taking place by video?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
And the court will note for the record that the defendant entered a plea of no contest on March 31st. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find him guilty, but deferred finding him guilty as he applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, the punishment is to be at a cap of 12 years. The state opposes your application, and there are no contact orders. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report? State?
None from the state.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. State, do you have any witnesses?
We don't, Judge. Just arguments.
Thank you. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I have Christina Aguilar. She's his fiance. She should be on.
All right, Christina Aguirre, could you raise your right hand for me, please, and unmute? If you could unmute, please. All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Cristina Aguirre.
All right, defense?
Yes, Your Honor. May I question her?
Yes.
Christina, how do you know Mr. Rodriguez?
He's my fiance.
And how long have y'all been together?
A little over a year.
Okay. And during this time, has he ever abused you in any way or anything like that?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. And if he ends up getting out on probation, will you help him to report in and to do what he's supposed to do?
Of course, yes.
Okay. And where does he have a son?
He has a 10-year-old son, yes, Devin.
And who does that son reside with right now?
With George's grandmother. He stays with his grandmother, but his grandmother's old. She's 76 years old, and she's gravely ill right now. They're not sure if it's COVID yet. I just talked to her last night, but she's sick right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Mr. Rodriguez was going to get out, where would he reside?
He's going to stay with his grandma and his son.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you know whether or not he works or has any working skills?
Actually, he does work. He works for a family member, his uncle, and he gets paid really good money.
Okay. And you're aware today of why he's in here, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware that he has a prior robbery?
Yes.
Okay. And is there anything that you have to say to this judge that might help him and help the judge in any way consider whether or not he should get probation?
Yes. Your Honor, his son needs him. and his grandmother is very old, and he helps me a lot. I'm disabled, and he takes care of me. I have seizures, and he's helped me a lot. You know, he's a good person. He just needs to be out here with his son.
Okay, thank you. And I pass the witness, Your Honor.
State?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, then, any other witnesses? Mr. Davidson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will hear argument. State?
Yes, Judge. As the court has read in the PSI and the stipulations on State's Exhibit Number 1, Judge, Mr. Pacino Rodriguez preyed on an individual who was just doing his job, just working at a convenience store, until Mr. Pacino Rodriguez came to take what wasn't his, and then pulled out displayed a machete, which obviously the person believed it was a gun at the time, but we find out it's a machete. That's not a new story with Mr. Pacino Rodriguez. In fact, the last time he went to prison, it was for a robbery. He has multiple crimes, theft and drugs and robbery. Every single time he's been given a chance and been put on probation, he's been revoked and sentenced to jail. At this point, he's a repeat offender in terms of committing the same type of crimes over and over again. And not only that, they are progressing in violence and severity. He's never been successful on probation. We ask that you send him to the prison and you give him the entire cap.
All right, Mr. Pacino Rodriguez, is there something you wish to say?
Your Honor, I would like to add,
Let me have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. What is it you wish to say?
Your Honor, I was going to ask for another chance out there to really be a man, to become the man my grandfather taught me to be for my son. And right now, it's just my family's just doing real bad right now, and I just wish I could.
How old is your son?
My son is 10 years old, ma'am.
How old was he when you committed this aggravated robbery?
9.
Did he not need you then?
No, ma'am. I was not living at the residence, ma'am.
So he did not need you at that point in time?
He did. He does need me. He does.
Here's my question for you. Why should I give you deferred adjudication? And when I ask why I should give you deferred adjudication, I don't mean because Christina needs you because she's disabled, or your mom needs you, or your sons need you, because they needed you when you committed this aggravated robbery. So put that aside. Let's assume that those 3 people do not exist in your life. Why should you be given deferred adjudication?
To give me another chance to be a man.
Why do you need another chance? I see in that report that you're over 28 years old.
Yes, ma'am. And for the crimes I have done are dumb and ridiculous. And I was not thinking at the time. So right now I'm straight-minded. I feel confident. At the time that I done, I had put a lot of thinking of what I need to do.
What did you learn about the robbery you committed?
Excuse me?
What did you learn from the robbery that you committed and you went to prison for?
I learned that my being away from my family needs me. So I learned that I just need to be a man and to become the person I was meant to be, and not to be a statistic to the system.
All right, Ms. Davidson, I'll hear your argument.
Yes, Your Honor. My client does have a high school diploma, and the types of robberies he has committed are they border on the ridiculous. I think he said he took a bag of chips or something on the last robbery. In this one, he took a body armor drink and ran out of the convenience store with it. And so these robberies,
And he took Bud Light.
yes, these robberies are not the Hope Diamond. They're I guess the best thing I can say is they're just really stupid type of robberies. And when I asked my client about it, he told me that he thought he took a bar of Xanax that day, and it affected his thinking, and he was blacking out. But what I'm asking for is a period of probation where he can prove himself. And because it is a deferred, if he if he screws up on this thing, he's got a lot of time hanging over his head. I've told him before that you're not going to put him on probation because somebody else needs him, because that applies to basically everybody in life. But what he has told me is that he wants to give it a good second chance, and he wants to try hard, and he wants to prove himself to the court and to everyone else as well. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Mr. Pacino Rodriguez, your application for deferred adjudication is denied. Does anyone wish to speak to the cap? The state is asking for a cap of 12 years. State, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're requesting the cap, Judge. Obviously, as you mentioned, robbery has been a problem in his past. I think just the fact that it's the same crime over and over again, we are asking for the 12 years that is asked for in the cap. He is, as the court mentioned, 28 years old, and he's already on his 17th misdemeanor or felony case that he has picked up.
All right, defense, what are you asking for with regards to years?
Your Honor, I believe 6 years would be reasonable in this case.
All right. Court will sentence you to 11 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be no contact with Adia, A-D-H-I-A, Nilesh Kumar, N-I-L-E-S-H-K-U-M-A-R. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it? Mr. Pacino Rodriguez, did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Pacino Rodriguez, I know at this point in time, you think maybe this is the end of your world, but it's not. You still have a chance to come out of prison and be a productive citizen. But if you continue on the path that you're on, you're going to end up being tagged with the habitual status. And with the habitual status, that means any felony that you pick up, your minimum is going to be 25 years in the prison. So you need to think about your family, think about your son when you're released from prison, and try to do better for them. Good luck to you, Mr. Pacino Rodriguez. Norman Pacino Rodriguez can go back. Mr. Davidson, thank you very much.